Hello there, my Gummy and welcome back to the Echo Chamber. Now, getting back into what if Krillin trained with King Kai after being killed by Tambourine? When last we left off, we had just concluded the Universe 6 tournament arc, where a lot of changes had ended up happening from the way that they originally did in canon. For instance, the fact that neither Goku, Vegeta, nor Piccolo ended up participating, and it was only down to Gohan and Krillin. I know that some fans may be a bit disappointed by that, but don't worry, they're going to get their shine coming into the later arcs going into this series. So don't feel too disappointed because their evolution will be showcased as well. But another significant change was the fact that Gohan ended up being the one to showcase not only Super Saiyan Blue for the first time, but Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken within this What If. And he ended up becoming the MVP of the tournament and thus ended up having an audience with Grand Zeno, prompting the action that would eventually lead into the Tournament of Power. And with that, peace ended up returning to the fighters of Universe 7. But that doesn't mean that all was going well, at least for the future that is, as we ended up transitioning over there where we see none other than Trunks in a state of duress, having run from an entity that had been chasing him down. The entity that we had discovered was none other than Gohan Black. And with that, we'll be getting into this part right now. In the recap and last part, Trunks was running away from an entity that turned out to be none other than Gohan Black. So this was not the Goku Black that we are accustomed to from the original timeline, but an entirely different menace altogether. A menace that was wearing the face of the person that Trunks loved and respected the most, his former master and mentor. The revelation of this was far more devastating to Trunks, given his personal history with Gohan. From here, I would say that things go normally, with Bulma ended up being killed and Trunks going back in time to seek help from the other Z fighters, with the changes coming back in once we get to the present timeline, with Trunks now having his freak out and attacking Goku, as it wasn't him who wrecking his timeline. This allows for a more peaceful exchange where Trunks explains what's going on to those in the present, with our Gohan now arriving with Krillin in order to hear the story, as the two have been doing some training before they were called over about the events. Trunks reiterating exactly what happened to him and his future. The story pissing Gohan off as he couldn't believe that somebody was using his body to commit such atrocities. Trunks concurred, saying that it was a nightmare, that even though he was a Super Saiyan 2, he still didn't have enough power to defeat Gohan Black, who in this timeline would actually be even stronger than Goku Black was during the original canon, prompting Gohan to ask Trunks if he would have a little bit of a spar with him in order for him to be able to compare the two's power. That way he can get a better understanding of just how strong Black is, with their fight going similar to the same way Goku and Trunks did in canon, Gohan showing to him the next stage in Super Saiyan, that being Super Saiyan 3. With Trunks being elated and saying that with this power he definitely could be able to overcome Black. Not long after, Gohan Black ended up showing up, both Gohans engaging in a furious battle, with our Gohan initially taking the edge over Gohan Black, at first only needing a Kaioken times 20 to maintain such an advantage. Due to this Gohan Black being stronger than even Goku Black was in canon and having hybrid potential, he was eventually able to push Gohan into going further. By the end of the battle, Gohan needing to use Super Saiyan 2 in order to be able to overcome Black. But of course, a time rift would open up and suck Goku Black back to the future, but not before he tried to destroy Trunks' time machine, which Goku managed to block off the attack, thus preventing it from being destroyed. Now, I do hate to rush the next part of these events, but I don't see them going in favor of Gohan Black or even Zamasu. This is due to the fact that the Z fighters here just have too much in their arsenal to really be able to combat them with, having unlocked several abilities earlier that can even help them against somebody like Zamasu, preventing that from even being a difficulty for them. Don't get me wrong, Gohan Black's power would still be impressive and he would have high grades of potential, but it wouldn't really do him no good in the end. The way I see these events playing out is that Goku, Whis, and Beerus still go to investigate the whole Gohan Black situation, uncovering the truth behind Zamasu and thus leading to him being Hakkai'd, with the team going to the future being Vegeta, Trunks, Gohan, and Krillin, with them confronting Gohan Black, who does end up showing off Super Saiyan Rose. But as I said, although that would be difficult, it would not be impossible, especially given the amount of power and hacks and abilities that go into the team that has just come to help out Trunks. Gohan Black is eventually put on the back foot and requires the help of Zamasu, and thus they figure out the truth of that whole situation as well. But Zamasu's inclusion isn't really beneficial in order to help out that team. The only real problem for our fighters being the fact that Gohan Black's potential is extremely high and that Zamasu is immortal. with Krillin pointing out a way around Zamasu's immortality, that being the Mafuba, which he would be able to perform and would not need Master Roshi's help or training in order to be able to accomplish this. However, what he would need would be a seal in a jar in order to be able to contain Zamasu. So thus him and Trunks would go back in time while the others remain in order to be able to stave off Gohan Black and Zamasu. This is something that I believe both Gohan and Vegeta would easily be able to do. Thus Krillin and Trunks would return and seal away Zamasu, finally ending that threat once and for all. Everyone now ganging up on Gohan Black, who once again is very powerful and does show some impressive techniques, like his abilities to manipulate ki, and also even do things like summon up clones from different timelines by opening up rifts within reality. But once again, like I said, although all that is impressive, he just won't be able to stand up to this amount of heat, having to recognize that either his best bet was running away, which although yes, due to the fact that Gohan has its transmission means that Gohan Black can most likely develop it and be able to use it, and most likely would use it, it wouldn't matter since most of the team here knows it's in transmission, and thus there would actually be nowhere for him to run, and eventually all of the abilities and powers that is coming out the beck and call of our Z fighters would eventually just overwhelm Gohan Black and finish him off once and for all, once again allowing Trunks' timeline to return to peace, of which he thanks the group for all their help and promises that he will get stronger in the future in order to be able to progress to where he won't need anyone else's help and can defend the future all on his own. And thanks to the intervention of everyone, his timeline actually remains intact, so therefore there won't be any future Xeno coming back with them. Besides, I doubt the idea that Xeno would have even been an option to begin with, given the fact that even if he did ask Gohan to meet with him, Gohan being a little bit more different from Goku and, like I said, vastly more respectful to the idea of Xeno's authority. Yes, he is just jovialistic enough for Xeno to like him, but there's most likely no way that he would give him a Xeno button, because I doubt that their interaction would go that far. Now granted, if you said that Goku was the one who went instead due to his own interests, I mean that could be an argument for them having the Xeno button, but I highly doubt that that would be the case, as the interest would be mostly based on Xeno, and Xeno only really had an interaction with Gohan during the Universe 6 tournament. But regardless of whether or not they have a Xeno button, it would be utterly irrelevant, as Trunks' timeline isn't in needing of being destroyed, due to the fact that this battle never got as far as creating Infinite Zamasu. But of course, they're not going to leave Trunks' timeline completely wrecked, and Gohan himself actually offers to go and locate new Namek so that way they can have some Dragon Balls in order to be able to help restore Trunks' timeline back to where it originally was, even offering the idea that they can bring future Bulma back to life, and thus once again peace is officially restored, as Trunks would gladly accept Gohan's offer, his Earth getting a new guardian in the form of Dende, or future Dende in this case, with the rest of the Z team returning back to the present to continue their lives as normal. And thus, we've reached the end of the Universe 6 and Goku Black arcs respectively. Alright guys, so I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed this part. I hope you really did indeed like it. And if you did, remember to do all that YouTube stuff, like and subscribe, favorite, share it all around. And I do kind of want to express the idea that I know that people are probably expecting the Gohan Black art to be a little bit more extensive than this, but at the same time, like I said, I just can't really see any logistical way that I can write that whole thing out that would cause Zamasu and Gohan Black to essentially survive to the point to where it would even become infinite Zamasu. I think with the original timeline, the power scaling and stuff was just more or less the main reason as to why that was, you know, an available option, because they had to essentially keep running back and forth, and there was a lot less members that could go and help out Trunks' future. But with here, the team being so stacked and pretty much being so close in power, and actually you can argue much more powerful, and even having the same type of abilities or even better abilities, better hacks, and just pretty much whatever you want to say, they just have a better version of it than Gohan Black and Zamasu. The only thing that really comes as an issue is the fact that Gohan Black would have such high potential and Zamasu would be immortal, but I'm pretty sure that they can account for this given the fact that his potential is really almost no different than our Gohan's in this case. It's not really enough to give him a certified win, and it just wouldn't happen. So I would rather not put you guys through me trying to make shit up as I go along to kind of make that arc extend out longer than what it needed to be. But other than that, once again, I hope you guys did like it. Please remember to like, favorite, and subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Peace.
And to all my Gummy Knights, new and old, just remember, this is a man's world, but it would be nothing without his brain and his bronze. And lying is indeed the most fun that a woman can have. without taking off her clothes. Good night.
你好物流机吧，你好物流机吧，スーパーシェシェチャオハウハウジ名前も知らないお玉にまたがりいろん千年のモンスターかき混ぜてたちまち仕上がり不思議なストーリー